3 top-class days of action from the Paddy Power meeting at Cheltenham, plus a couple of eye catches from elsewhere. Here's the Monday rundown of those horses to put in your tracker going forward, guys. And this isn't designed, I do this not to just show you up those winners, the brilliant winners. I'm not even going to talk about the Lotus or the John Bonds, the likes of that. It's just, you can see that with your own eyes, right? I'm looking to give you some eye catchers, some horses to put in your trackers. Certainly gone in my tracker anyway. And this is a free opportunity for me to share this with various different people. Wade Out was a really impressive winner at Cheltenham on Friday, but the one horse I'm going to give you to follow, and I have to give it you because, well, quite frankly, I think this could be quite a special horse. The horse is called No Drama This End. We actually put it up for our members this week, this Friday, as a really big one to follow this weekend and get on. And as it proved, this horse is all class. Showed a really good turn of foot to come up the home straight up the hill at Cheltenham. But more importantly, the way he travelled through the race, he travelled like the best horse. Jumped great, very quick and nimble. Harry Cobden gave it a great ride, beating a really nice horse in Heads Up into second. And for us, that makes this an eye catcher. Not only that, we could be seeing a horse that could genuinely challenge in that 2.5 mile Turners / Barrymore, whatever it's called these days, or the Albert Bartlett. Personally, my preference is I think he's plenty quick enough. I think the Albert Bartlett is a bad test for a really classy horse. I think that's more of a test for an absolute grueling stayer. So I hope they stick to the 2.5 mile route personally, and that's the horse that I'm going to give. Friday was quite an interesting day in terms of horses to put forward. I actually didn't take that much away. There's a few bits and bobs. Mr. Coffee, finishing second, but that horse has still a maiden, I think, never won a race over fences. So it's difficult to get excited about that, even though he ran a good race into second. One big bang behind Wade Out, maybe on better ground, could be worth following. But the one from Friday is definitely in your trackers, is No Drama This End. Saturday, we've got a couple more, which I think is well worth talking about. I'm giving you guys anyway. The first one it's got to be the impressive fresh perspective for Jamie Snowden up at Wetherby in the 3:10. Spread eagled them, quite frankly. As soon as Gav hit the turbo button go, and this horse really kicked away, showed his class. And for me, he's a horse to definitely keep on side in these sorts of races. It was a Class 2 event, so obviously gives him every right to go and step forward again. Whether he's absolutely top class over hurdles, I'm not sure, but he's definitely going to make up to a beautiful stay and chaser in time. And I'm sure, knowing Jamie, that'll be the horse's job. Back at Cheltenham, the first horse to highlight is Precious Man. Now, if you go back and watch this race and watch the way that this horse travelled, he was a bit too keen out the back. And I'll be honest with you, I thought his chances were completely done. Given the way he pulled in that terrible soft ground at Cheltenham, probably heavy at the time when he ran on it. They went round the outside, and yes, you could say that he went the longest way round, and as a result probably paid for it at the end. But it's actually the keenness of the horse. Harry Skelton still managed to have plenty of horse coming round the bend, up the hill. He just got outgunned by another horse who stole the march, really. There's a really impressive performance by One Horse Time for Harry Derham, so we have to give that horse credit. But I think it's Precious Man you have to take out the race. If he settles better, I could see him probably in a more of a speed test, actually being somewhere like Kempton. I could see him being a really good horse for somewhere like Kempton. And with that in mind, he's definitely a horse to follow because he's going to go and win races for sure. Hung Jury won for us. We put this up. Hopefully you've seen the video. Brilliant for Martin Keithley. It's not one I'm going to highlight. I don't think he's got tons in hand. I think everything fell right for him. The right race, right day, right conditions. Well done to the team. They really do have a very nice horse on their hands. I think Vincenzo ran a good race in the Paddy Power. I think, unfortunately, for Dylan Johnson, he ended up having to take that route down the inside because all the other horses, Constantine to the other side. I think if he'd have stayed on that better ground, he might well have had enough up his sleeve to get up the hill and maybe be challenging Panic Attack, who was a good winner of the race for sure. But the horse to concentrate on to go in your trackers, guys, from the Saturday again, coming to 3:30 for me. and the horse is Cat Boy for Ollie Murphy. Now, this horse changed hands. It was with Paul Nicholls originally. Cat Boy has gone and won a race up at Perth prior to this. So he's got his head in front finally. And I think you can tell by the way the horse is racing, he's finally getting the gist of things right now. He was really highly touted around last season by Paul Nicholls. He thought he was a very good horse. He's off a lovely little mark at the moment, and I'm sure they're going to exploit it because although the horse Lavender Hill Mob, who won the race, he kind of stole it a little bit. A good ride from Sam Twiston Davis, to be fair. He really, really did give that a belter of a ride. The Irish horse was off 9 stone 11 coming in, bottom weight, terrible conditions. And I wouldn't be saying with a £5 claimer as well. So it's one I would say I won't be following personally. But I thought the third Cat Boy is definitely worth keeping on side. The way he ran up the hill was strong. He's just showing a different side to him this season. And I think for that alone, that makes me quite interested in the horse for the future. Okay, we move to Sunday. Excuse me. Quite a few at Sunday, but the first one that really caught my eye, and I definitely want to be keeping this one on side, is a horse called Facile Mode for Thomas Mullins. Another fairly well handicapped horse by the looks of things. He come from absolutely nowhere. Now, I can take you back a couple of seasons ago. He was somewhere near favourite for a championship bumper at the Leopardstown Dublin Racing Festival. He was really well supported, a horse that they were talking about in great depth with a future in mind. He's taken quite a lot of racing and quite a lot of time to get to this point, but I think he's now in the midst of being quite well handicapped. Gavin Sheehan rode this horse on Sunday. He was out the back, probably a little bit caught for toe at times, probably a bit too far back, but he ran on very, very strongly. He's gone on and beaten some nice horses. He carried very little weight that day, so that does have to be taken into consideration. But there's no questions about it that these stay-in chases are going to be what horse is all about. It'd be interesting to see what connections do with this horse going forward. Thomas Mullins is quite a shrewdy over in Ireland, so I would definitely be saying he's well worth keeping on side. Alexi won the Greatwood Hurdle and won it in some style. So although this is a winner, not one from the back of the field, I can kind of give you to keep an eye on. I definitely think Alexi is another horse to keep on side. And very well done to Joe Tizard and Connections. I thought that was a really strong run and it won really well. In the final bumper, I think Cinchi Rocker is going to be very, very appealing going forward. Not on bumpers necessarily, but definitely when it goes hurdling. This horse, ridden by Charlie Deutsch, now with Sid Hosey, was with Anthony Charlton previously. He's already had his head in front, this horse. Ran a big race at Chepstow the last day, got beaten by a nice horse of Jeremy Scott's, who they like quite a bit. It was quite far back this in the race, and over Cheltenham the whole of the weekend, not many come back from the back with a proper run, and this horse did. Definitely want to step up in trip. I can see this over 2.5 miles over hurdles being a very good horse to follow. He's already got some nice form in the book, like I said, and although the winner's probably ahead of him in terms of where he's at in his career right now, I wouldn't be surprised if you give that another 6 months to a year and the positions of those two change. Right, okay, at Navan. I've got to take you to Navan to talk about a couple of horses over there. First and foremost, Switch from Diesel. Come with a late run, I suppose, to try and pick up the runaway leader in that race. Just didn't manage to do it. The reason being, I think, is because of the heavy ground. And I think that back on slightly better ground, this horse finished second to Bambino Fever, running Bambino Fever really tightly at the Punchestown Racing Festival in April/May. I think he's a nice horse. You know, I don't know quite what the plans are going to be for Switch from Diesel, but he's definitely got ability. Still a maiden, so he'll go and do his stuff. I think he'll get his head in front next time. They'll probably find a better race, and obviously the experience should show in time. Finally, the last one to cover, and I think I'm going to put my neck on the line here. I think I'm about to talk about a Gold Cup winner in a few years' time. Final Demand. Yes, he was odds on, so he wasn't a betting proposition in the race. And for that, I completely understand if people think, well, why are you calling this one out? But I have to highlight Final Demand. I've said it before. You can go back and find through one of my videos in the piece and here on all the socials. Is I've told you that last year's Ballymore/Turners, whatever it's called, what is it called? Is a piece of form to follow, and I think you can follow it blindly. And I'll be honest with you, it's proved absolutely correct. Even 6 Mile Bridge won a chase at the weekend on Thursday last week. So 100% it is going to be a piece of form to follow. Now, Final Demand was in that race, got beaten. It did go back and put things right, let's just say, at Punchestown. He's just so classy. You can just tell by the way he travels so easily and he jumps so nicely. He's very straight. He's very true. Every time he comes over a fence or come over a fence over the weekend, it's the way he just so quickly travels so powerfully again. There's not a sort of grab or reach for the ground. And it was the same over hurdles, really. He was a bit keen going early days, but actually by the time he ran in the race at at Punchestown in the summer, he was just a different animal again altogether. He was just so composed and so professional. And I think now we're going to see the class of this horse. I can see him just being way too good from this year over staying trips over fences in Ireland. I think he'll probably come over and I think he'll dot up in the Ballymore. And I do believe that this is a Gold Cup winner for next year. And so, therefore, it might be worth having a few quid each way, whatever the price may be. But listen, Final Demand, what a horse. What an animal to take forward. Willie Mullins has those all-important, fantastic riches to choose from again, doesn't he? That's it, really, for the horses to follow. Quite a few, quite a lot for you to get stuck into. Hopefully you'll find a good, 12-ish minutes to sit there and talk about and listen to this, because I think that they're all worth putting in your tracker. Good luck.